Non-stop defining images coming in from Ukraine on day 2 of the Russian invasion. Let me just quickly update you on the pictures, because the pictures are telling the story much more than the claims and the counterclaims between the two countries ever can. This is what Kiev looked last night, and this is the kind of destruction that has taken place today. That's the impact of all of the attacks that have taken place today. This is what the Chernobyl nuclear facility site looks like normally, overgrown by foliage, and that image on the right is what it looks like right now, surrounded by Russian armored vehicles and infantry vehicles. Two images, two contrasts, Kiev and Chernobyl, before and after, telling you a story of what's happening on day 2 in a country that's under siege by Putin's Russia. Jan Husar is our man on the ground reporting from Kiev. He continues to be with me. Jan, very compelling images of before and after coming in from Kiev, from Chernobyl as well. Where are you right now, Jan? What's the... Okay, we've lost Jan for the moment because there is a serious signal issue. There is reason to believe that scrambling equipment and jammers may be in force, debilitating certain communication and mobile signals. But Jan, if you can hear me, I know the signal is very weak, but Jan, if you can hear me, what's the current situation right now? Anything you can tell us about how things have changed in the last hour?
In the last hour, there is more and more people leaving the city by cars, and there is almost absolutely no people on the street. Yesterday, around this time, the life was slowly picking up. But today, you only see people who either are going to find some groceries or are having backpacks and luggage and leaving Kiev. The cars are starting to be speeding. There is no stop on the red signs. The rule of law is starting to not exist in Kiev for the time being.
Is that becoming a problem, Jan? What you mentioned just now, that law and order is becoming an issue. Are people taking things into their own hands?
On the roads, it's not that safe as usually it is. So people who are driving in Kiev, they have to be super careful, because some of the people here are super speeding, like you don't see it here normally, because they will get stopped by the police. But now the police is not dealing with reckless driving; it's dealing with the security situation. Yeah. So I think slowly it will become a big problem in the coming days.
It's going to become a problem in the coming days. Kiev is under siege. Russian forces are, a few kilometers away, not very far from where Jan is actually reporting from right now. I am guessing that the air raid shelters and the bomb shelters at this time, Jan, are probably full of citizens and full of people right now.
Yes, they are. I mean, the people on the street that are mostly soldiers, as you can see, I'm standing here. There is a military vehicle parked on the road, and you can see more and more of this happening in all around Kiev, especially downtown. I mean, this where I'm standing, it's super busy street. This is not something you can see some traffic, but if you see the traffic that is here normally, that it will amaze you. It's like in New York, like in downtown New York. There's car on car. There is rush hours. And now you just 1, 2, 3 cars are on this main road that is coming all through the downtown of Kiev. Because some of this car that left, that was foreign journalists. So some of these people who actually you see around me are journalists, are not Ukrainians. I mean, there are some people. I can try to go like this, and as you can see, it's a big street, and with no people.
Absolutely,
all the
incredible.
way,
incredible.
All the way. There are some guys here, but it's 2 people. But imagine, this is expensive part of the city where there are shops, hotels, and literally, let me just switch the image. And as you can see, a big road that is going all through Kiev, and it's empty. These cars here are parked in front of the hotel, so those are hotel guests. But nowhere, no people, nowhere. You don't see. Just few cars. Really, this is maybe if you came here 2 in the morning on Monday, this is how many cars you will see. But you don't see this in the middle or in the morning over rush hour where people should be going to work. I suppose today Nobody went to work, and there are problems with groceries. We were talking about that earlier. And we are also considering to buy some storages for ourselves because we might get stuck in Kiev for the next weeks. We don't know. We want to stay and report more, and hopefully we'll do that.
Jan, I mean, I can't even imagine because, you know, yesterday and day before yesterday, before the invasion actually started, we saw the streets of Kiev. They were full of traffic, full of cars. You know, what you're showing me right now is unbelievable. It's completely empty. There's nobody out there. Everybody's inside or left the city.
Yes, that is true. That is true. Like all of these cars you are seeing that are either leaving the city or are trying to find groceries, or are people just related to the military or the police. No civilians, almost no civilians, nowhere. You don't see any children. There are no children to be seen. I only seen one kid today. That was, I was thinking going to preschool, but that's probably not the case. I suppose the preschools are closed as well. But there are no children to be seen. I haven't seen kids since yesterday evening. There's like the children are hidden, and that's really scary. I mean, when people hide children, that means it's serious.
Jan, we're going to let you go for the moment. Thank you very much, my friend, for being with us. Please stay safe. We'll keep coming back to you. It's day 2 of this invasion. The images that are coming in through the wires, through India Today's cameras, are confirming only one thing, that the scale of this operation is increasing with each passing hour. The panic is increasing with each passing hour. The possibilities and the options before the people of Ukraine are decreasing with each passing hour. But where did all this begin? How have we reached a stage where Ukraine looked like this last night and looked like this morning in these 2 images on your screen right now? The US president, who had already imposed sanctions 2 days ago, has promised more sanctions. Other countries have announced more sanctions against Putin's Russia, but not a single country has decided to come to Ukraine's real aid on the ground. And like we've just heard from our Ukraine MPs on the ground, they say it's not just weaponry we need support, we need moral support, we need medicines for our troops as they try and defend this country at this time. Take a look at this report.
Ukraine is under attack. Russia from across the border launched airstrikes at targets within Ukraine, signaling the start of war.
The Russian president declared a war on the record. Should I play the video of your president? Ambassador, shall I do that right now, or you can confirm it? Do not interrupt me, please. Thank you.
Then don't ask me questions when you are speaking. Proceed with your statement.
Anyway, you declared the war. It is the responsibility of this body to stop the war.
And as with the beginning of any battle, there has been confusion and misinformation riding the airwaves, distorting the understanding of the situation. What could be confirmed early in the day are the 6 initial targets that Russian arms has hit in Ukraine. Military headquarters near the capital Kyiv got hit by cruise and ballistic missiles. In the attack launched simultaneously across the country, Russian missiles hit 3 major Ukrainian cities in the east: Kramatorsk, close to the rebel-held region of Luhansk; Kharkiv, near the Russian border; and Dnipro, which in 1943, then known as Dnieper, had seen one of the biggest and bloodiest battles of the Second World War. To the south of Ukraine, there have been reports of the international airport at Kherson having suffered damage. Aside from this, unconfirmed Ukrainian sources claimed that Russian troops have been spotted in the city of Odessa, which is close to the border with Transnistria, that is itself a Russian-backed breakaway region of neighboring Moldova. Ukraine is Europe's second biggest country by landmass, and its attacker, Russia, is the biggest. Besides its border with Russia, Ukraine has 6 other neighbors, but with Belarus to the north firmly on the Russian side, and with Crimea, which used to be part of Ukraine, invaded and annexed by Russia in 2014, The country now faces hostile borders on three sides, stretching across the north, to the east, to the south. The point of conflict in 2022 has been along the line of contact, a temporary border that demarcates Ukraine from the two regions that separated from it in 2014, aided and abetted by Russia. Luhansk and Donetsk have been in a state of constant friction with Ukrainian forces, and the breakaway regions claim more than double the area that they currently control as separate from the national identity of Ukraine. Yet the actual bone of contention in this war that has just broken out remains a matter of influence. Moscow cannot allow Ukraine joining the NATO, and it has proved that Russia will go to war if necessary to prevent that from happening. Since the breakup of the Soviet Union in 1991, the US-influenced North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO, has been constantly expanding eastwards. It added 11 countries that were part of the Soviet Eastern Bloc, buffer states of the USSR. The three Baltic states of Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia, once a part of the Soviet Union, joined NATO in 2004. With Russia feeling encircled by NATO, the move to let Ukraine in would mean that NATO would for the first time include what used to be a major Soviet republic, and it would take possible NATO deployments dangerously close to Russia.
Regarding using the armed forces abroad, well, of course, we signed the treaties yesterday. And in these treaties with both Donetsk People's Republic and Luhansk People's Republic, there are articles saying about us providing those republics help, including military help. As long as there is an ongoing conflict, by this decision, we are making it clear that if necessary, we intend to stand by our obligations.
The Russian President Vladimir Putin on February 21st, in a televised address, warned that if Ukraine were to join NATO, it would serve as a direct threat to the security of Russia. He described Ukraine as a springboard for a NATO strike against Russia. And that is something that the President of Russia, Vladimir Putin, will not let happen, even if that means going to war with Ukraine.
The before and after of the Ukraine crisis tells a story that is heartbreaking, devastating, haunting, and truly a nightmare image of how this entire military offensive has been scaled up. Take a look at these two images first of what Ukraine experienced last night and what the impact of what happened looks like this morning in the capital city of Ukraine, Kiev. It is incredible and it's unbelievable to the people of Ukraine that that's what they're dealing with. The other two images of the Chernobyl nuclear facility in Ukraine, what it normally looks like on the left, and on the right, now surrounded by Russian armored vehicles. They've surrounded it. It is not clear why they've surrounded it. It's a defunct, infamous nuclear facility where there was once a famous nuclear accident and a radiation leak. But the Russians have surrounded the Chernobyl facility as well. Very quick break here. More images, more voices on the other side. Stay with me.